Hi everyone! I'm back again with another learning. But before we continue, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more Eduvlog updates that might help you learn at home during this pandemic. Again, welcome to my class, Creative Nonfiction Module 3. What is this module all about? Writing is perceived by many as a complex task, and that is why students choose not to write because it involves several processes and often viewed by many as a task that is suited only for academic individuals. Moreover, writing is an act of indulging yourself into the beauty and wonders of your imagination. This module will serve as your motivation tool in understanding the forms and types of creative nonfiction, as you will also be reading and writing creative nonfiction texts. In addition, it will help you transforming your experiences and adventures into a wonderful and meaningful creation that could inspire many people. Likewise, it will provide engaging activities that will enhance your writing skills and will provide a glimpse of your experiences. Hence, an effective tool that will broaden your knowledge as you go along journey to senior high school life. So are you ready to learn something new today? Very good. Yes, you are. So let's continue. Lesson 1 is about the forms and types of creative nonfiction. After studying this module, you are expected to Number 1 is to identify the various forms and types of creative nonfiction. Number 2 is to compare and contrast the types and forms of creative nonfiction. And number 3 is to evaluate an article using close reading. Types and forms of creative nonfiction. Number 1, we have autobiography. Autobiography is a story written by the person himself. Meaning to say it is an account or a history of a person's life written by himself. No other author rather than himself. Number 2, we have biography. If autobiography is a written account of a person himself, biography is known as the life story that is written by another person. To say, for example, someone is about to write a story of your life. That is a biography. Number 3, we have journal. Journal is a day-to-day account intended to purely document life's events. It is a daily record of occurrences, experiences, or observation. Nowadays, we have a journal wherein people tend to write the places where they did go that day in order to document. And number 4 is the diary. Diary is a written account of the author which involves his or her secrets. So it is a daily record, usually private, especially to writers' own experiences, observation, feelings, and attitude. Other people tend to write diary for their self. They tend to write their feelings, their emotion on their diary and keep it as a private. It is just a connection between the writer and then the diary itself. Number 5, letter. It is a communication or written message that addresses to a certain person or organization. Before the technology exists during the old times, people tend to communicate using letter. For example, their relative or relatives are in the other part of country. They do not have cell phones, so they use letter. Or nowadays, in applying for a job, you tend to use letter for organizations and so forth. Number 6 is memoir. It refers to the personal account of a person which teaches them something. It is more of a memory that cannot be easily forgotten. It can also be any non-fiction narrative writing based in the author's personal memory. The assertion made is work are thus understood to be factual. Number 7 is the literary journalism or reportage. It refers to the magazine or newspaper writing or closely related to it. It is journalism with a touch of an artistic value of literature in it. So aside from writing personal notes, memories, etc., we also have this literary journalism wherein people tend to write for magazine or newspaper. Their content is all about the news, the happening nowadays, or anything that might fit in magazine or newspaper. Number 7 is reflection essay. It refers to the narrator's personal view and experiences. It is more on thoughts and feelings of the author. This happens in school. For example, your teacher asks you to write about the reflection on a given article. So you are going to write an essay that will share your perspective about that article or that story. Number 9 is the testimonio essay. It refers to the personal experience of an author or the author witnesses an abuse and oppression in a workplace. So basically, from the word itself, testimonio or the testimony essay, it talks about the author's experience, what he or she observed within his workplace. It might he or she might agree or disagree with what he observed within the community or his or her workplace. Number 10 is the travelogue. It is a written account of a person during his or her travel. It focuses on the serenity, people, and the warmness of the place and the people. Nowadays, it is very trend to travel in different places. People tend to jot down their memory about that trip, the scene, they're going to describe how the people, what kind of people they met during their travel. Aside from that, the kind of environment, the author tend to let his or her reader imagine what kind of vacation he or she had, what kind of travel he or she had. Okay, so let's continue. Forms and types of creative nonfiction. Number 1 is understanding various forms and types of creative nonfiction. It says here that creative nonfiction has many types and it generally focuses on experiences of an individual. That may be it could inspire many individuals as you write it and share these experiences. Moreover, creative nonfiction comes in various ways and almost often we are not aware that our experiences could become a good literary pieces. Now that we know the different types of creative nonfiction, the autobiography, biography, journal, diary, etc., we tend to understand, oh, that is a creative nonfiction. For example, you usually do or write your diary. Now that you know the different types of creative nonfiction, you will now identify that writing of yours, your diary, is considered as a type of creative nonfiction. Why? Because on your diary, you tend to share your secrets, your emotions, your feelings, and anything. The significance of an audience. Understanding the significance of your audience plays a vital role as you write your piece, because they are the ones who will read and be inspired by your story. In a sense, your goal is to inspire the readers to read because they could learn something from it. For example, you are an aspiring writer and you want to write something for kids, for toddler, for example. So you're not going to write things like K-pop, K-drama, etc. You're about to write something that might boost the learner's interest in reading. So since you are going to write for children, maybe you're going to write a story about animals, the nature, etc. Considering your audience or readers in writing is truly an important step to become a famous or a good writer. Next is close reading. Close reading is a matter of understanding the text presented by the author by observing every detail in a text. A writer often uses unique ways to convey their messages to the reader. Thus, as a reader, you need to be observant always. If your reader tends to understand things from your writing, close reading means reading and understanding the context or text presented by the author. By observing every detail, it says that but the reader must be observant in reading. He or she must understand what is he or she reading. Aside from that, as a writer, we must use unique ways to convey their messages. For example, that is why we are using imagery. Don't forget to like and share this video. I hope you learned something. And don't forget to subscribe. That's all for now. Happy learning. Goodbye!